Welcome back to Hannity. Now on Sunday, just a day after the brutal assassination of two NYPD officers in Brooklyn, New York, Cornell William Brooks, the president of the NAACP, said the vicious rhetoric of the left was not to blame for the murders. Watch this.
To link the criminal insanity of a lone gunman to the peaceful protests and aspirations of many people across the country, including the Attorney General, the Mayor, and even the President, is simply not fair. The fact of the matter is, in this country, we have a violence problem. Think about it this way. The tears of the families of these police officers and the tears of Eric Garner's family and Michael Brown's family aren't shed in law enforcement blue, racially black or brown. They're colorless.
Here with reaction from the Black Sphere, we have Kevin Jackson, Democratic strategist, Brian Benjamin, Fox News contributor David Webb. David, let me start here, because you were in Ferguson a number of times covering that issue for this program. That case in particular was not about race. It was made racial by politicians. You heard from the president on down, rushed to judgment before any evidence was even presented, the expectation that a certain verdict from the grand jury would come in. Do you think that contributed to the rhetorical atmosphere that inspired, if you will, this lunatic? I'm not saying they're to blame, but perhaps had an impact mentally on this guy to do this.
Yeah, Sean, it does. And we're talking about environment here, not only with what this assassin did, this criminal did, but what's going on around the entire nation right now. I just sent another threat to NYPD for them to check out while I was waiting for this segment. I've been getting these since this happened, since the guys I was talking to were rolling on this crime. And I want to go to something that Cornell Brooks said. He says lone gunman. It was a lone gunman who fired the first shot while I was on the air with you out of Ferguson. It was several lone gunmen who fired the ensuing shots as I was going down South Florissant. So wipe that narrative off the table. This environment about hating cops is what drives it. It was driven by the left, by the progressives, by Al Sharpton, who is the chief racist of this country. But Al Sharpton sits at the right hand of President Obama, the right hand of Bill de Blasio, and they foster this environment. And I don't accept Bill de Blasio's apology. I don't accept, and nor should the nation accept their apologies, but they should look at their actions, judge it for what it is.
Yeah. Kevin Jackson, let me go to you. We have a montage of all the radical things that Al Sharpton has said over the years. I won't play it now. We played it a number of times on the program. Do you think he's a guy that should be at the White House? Do you think he's the guy that ought to be giving advice to the president, advice to the mayor of New York?
No, he should be in jail, Sean. It's amazing that Al Sharpton's not been jailed for inciting this. They've jailed other people that have been a part of other similar organizations like the National Action Network. Sharpton has done nothing since the beginning of this, and quite frankly, it predates Ferguson. Ferguson was only the tip of the iceberg. And as far as what the president of the NAACP said, it's better living through denial for these ignoramuses that would want us to dissociate ourselves from these types of things and make us believe that, no, this had nothing to do with what happened in New York. This is squarely, as David said, on the shoulders of liberals. And the fact of the matter is everybody is aware at how this man was created. He did not just come to this idea on his own. He was created with everything that happened from Ferguson leading up to what de Blasio did, and this apparent disregard for the lives of law enforcement that have to get up every day and face the dregs of America. And quite frankly, we're not even focusing on the idea that these are two men. Sure, they're men in blue, but when they take off their uniforms, they're fathers and their sons and their uncles. And these guys act as if there's some amorphous form that dropped in from outer space. They are cops and people.
Brian, let me go to you and ask you,
thank you, Sean.
How is it that the president, I've often said the president's a three-time loser on these high-profile race cases. The Cambridge police acted stupidly. Trayvon Martin would look like my son. Again, before any evidence is presented in that case. He sent 3 White House representatives to the funeral of Michael Brown, a guy that robbed a store, intimidated a clerk, tried to steal a cop's gun, I assume to shoot him, and then charged at a police officer, all according to the evidence in those cases.
Well, all
so
according to
why
some
does the
evidence,
president?
Sean. That's not true.
Here's my question, Brian.
There's conflicting testimony
why
on
does Mr.
that.
Constitutional Attorney, the president, rush to judgment before evidence is presented on these high-profile race cases? Isn't that wrong for him to do it? And isn't it wrong for him to hang out with Sharpton?
First of all, he has not rushed to judgment. But let's go to this issue about hating
Yes, he
cops.
did.
Let's go to this issue about hating cops, Sean. The truth of the matter is just because you might have concerns about some police policies, police brutality, that does not mean you're anti-police. And I think the right
police
needs to
acted
stop.
stupidly. Why did the wait?
The right,
stop.
the
You're
right
not
needs
answering my
to
question. Whoa. The White House sent 3 representatives to the funeral of Michael Brown, a guy that tried to steal a cop's gun.
We don't know that.
It ended up
we
in
don't
a
know
shooting.
that.
Yes,
we
we
do
do.
know that.
No, we do
because
not
the
know that.
evidence
There's
presented
conflicting
Yes, we do.
testimony, and none of us were there. Not one of us was
But
there.
the evidence
That's what
is
the
clear.
testimony said.
Some of the
evidence.
testimony
Read
said
it.
that he had his hands up.
The evidence is clear.
Okay,
No,
right.
the evidence
Yeah, okay.
doesn't say that he had his hands up.
All right, guys.
That's
okay.
ridiculous.
Okay. Sean,
So
I
why
got
does
to
the
say,
president
you
rush
guys
to
are just
judgment?
making
His
this
hand-
stuff
his
up.
hands
He's
up
a
narrative.
constitutional attorney.
Sean,
Why
Okay,
did
he
he
is.
rush to judgment and send 3
did
White
not
House
rush to
representatives?
judgment.
Excuse me. He decided before the facts were in that he's going to send 3 White House representatives. Did
He
they
didn't
send
make a
3 White
statement.
House representatives? Are they going to send that to the funeral of these 3 dead cops now?
There's 2 dead
Is that
cops.
going to happen?
There's 2 dead cops, Sean, but I think there should
No,
be
there's
some
3. One in
representatives.
Florida. Excuse me. 3.
Okay, fine. Let's talk about Brooklyn. I think there should
All
be
right.
some
Are they going to
representation.
send?
I think there
Is the
should
White
be.
House going to send a representative to New York for the funerals of these dead cops?
I will surely hope that the president would do so. I think he should do
Yeah,
that,
well,
and I
don't
think
hold your breath.
that'll be the right signal to send.